What is happening to the games industry? It's like watching a giant fall. I mean, just look around. The once bustling world of AAA games now caught in an economic freefall, with studios downsizing, budgets shrinking, and opportunities slipping away. It's hard to believe, but the industry we once knew is fading, and no one really knows what comes next. Just last month, I lost a major client. That hit hard, and the industry is so unstable right now, like the stock market. It's anyone's guess where things are headed. Some people say it's the end, others are clinging to hope, but truthfully, no one really knows. But here's the thing, I'm not really ready to give up just yet. Instead of leaving my future in the hands of others, I'm building my own path. A platform that gives me stability, a place to share my skills and help others. I'm stepping forward, even if the way ahead is unclear. Because if this industry is headed for a storm, it's time to start building my own shelter. So let's talk about how I'm doing it and why now is the perfect time to take control. So how do you solve this problem, or how do you actually go about at least overcoming the problem of seeing a collapse of an industry, if that's true? I don't think it's true, but if that's true, how do you go about making sure you have some peace of mind going forward? Some of the questions we should be asking ourselves is, how can we actually gain a sense of stability for the future? Because that is the most troubling thing that has been happening so far, because the games industry for the longest time, at least for the 20 plus years that I've been, has been stable. That's one thing's for sure. Sometimes I had jobs, sometimes I didn't, and it felt stressful, but it was a personal stress. It was not as an industry stress. So this is the worst I've ever seen. So how can we gain a sense of stability in the industry? The second question I think that people should be asking themselves is about sustainability. One of the things that you can get from the games industry, or used to be able to get from the games industry, is that know-how that the industry is going to be here no matter what, right? I remember VFX and film struggling quite a bit, and a lot of animators jumping ship to come to games a few years back because games was stable, and then the game industry was still expanding, and there was a sense of like the games industry is much more sustainable than the film industry or the VFX industry, and that's no longer true. So where can you find that sense of sustainability in the games industry or doing something related to games? And lastly, I do think it's important nowadays, more than ever, to become a little bit of an authority in your area of expertise. People are starting to become authorities in their specific areas, and the bigger authority you are in your specific area, the better it's going to be for you as you kind of like become a little bit more independent, and then people can come to you instead of you having to reach out to other people. Now, creating a platform, establishing a platform takes years to make, takes a lot of time. Also, in order for you to establish yourself, you need to actually build a community. Building a community is absolutely important. Another barrier that you're going to find as you go through this idea of becoming self-sufficient and becoming independent as a games developer is the mental barriers that you're going to have to face. And if you're anything like me, and if you worked with a team of people on a AAA title, surrounded by the people that are telling you what to do, or at least guiding you where you need to go, then it becomes really complex. But it is a mental exercise for sure to go from working with others in an office, closed in for years, and then exposing your work to the world, to then having to go on the regular, independently, by yourself, having to work and having to create every single day. It's a lot of work. It requires a lot of mental gymnastics, but if you manage to overcome those, it becomes really satisfying to see your work flourish in the eyes of the world. Now, the last problem that you're going to find is standing out amongst others, because this is becoming really crowded. And part of the message that I'm trying to deliver here is that you should start now in order for you to actually become a standout person amongst the many that might be coming in the future. The good news is the games industry, in terms of creators and doing this thing that I'm doing right now, is very small. Most people are not used to it, first and foremost, and second, they're not willing to do it. So if you find yourself willing to actually spend the time and working a little harder so you can actually do this, I think you're going to be at the forefront. So I do think that right now is the best time for you to start thinking about yourself first and your job second, meaning that you should start to actually build your platform, you should start building your social media presence, you should start kind of like creating a voice for yourself. I always believe that the games industry has so much to give to the world, but because of all the NDAs and all the the secret thing that we had going on in the industry, I feel like the world doesn't know a lot about the games industry, and it's a bit of a shame really, because I do think that if we all, not all, but most of us actually started some type of channel, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, I feel like there will be so much knowledge out there for people to see, and I think we all win. Because nowadays we can tell that the AA industry, the indie industry is flourishing. Lots of ideas, lots of great studios kind of coming up, including ourselves, Proxima. Same thing that I try to do here in this channel with animation specifically, talking about not only the technical aspects of animation, but also talking about what goes on behind the scenes mentally, what goes on behind the scenes when you start, how difficult is it to actually kind of like do this day in, day out, how is it to be a lead, how is it to be a director, some of the challenges, some of the solutions. All of those things are super important, and I think it's something that you should actually think about sharing. To me, starting this YouTube channel started as a creative outlet because I was feeling frustrated that working in AAA felt like the same thing all the time. But ultimately what this ended up being to me is basically all the things that I mentioned in the beginning of the video when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to you actually having something that basically it's your own and you can control, meaning that it's something outside of the games industry. And if you gathered all this knowledge and you have a lot to give, then why not actually making your life a little easier and knowing that you have this to fall back into if you need to? Because I actually spent a lot of time working full-time and building this, and then it turns out that this was the best thing possible because of how things are right now. It's fulfilling for me, both professionally, and also my soul is happy. I feel like I'm doing something good for others, and that couldn't be anything better, basically. So that is basically what I wanted to share with you guys in this video. And that actually marks the end of the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, if you did, like, subscribe, and comment. And until the next video, stay well, stay safe, peace.